done, man. She said go.
Honored parents, honored parents, grandparents, family, faculty, and friends, I'd like to officially welcome you to the 2022 graduation ceremony of the Hebrew Academy of Long Beach. We kindly ask that you silence all of your cell phones. Before we welcome in the graduates, we would like to extend our gratitude and deep hakarat tov to the incredible faculty that make the HALB education what it is and who have done so much for our children. Please join me in welcoming the faculty of the Hebrew Academy of Long Beach.
Please now join me in welcoming the HALB graduating class of 2022. I thought they graduated a little earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and Hatikva. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. And graduates, please be seated. I'd like to begin by introducing those sitting up here on the dais. Mrs. Adrienne Mitten, our Executive Director, Mr. Mitchell Kirshner, Co-President of the Board, Mr. Nathaniel Rogoff, Co-President of the Board, Mr. Richard Altaby, Principal of HALB's Lower School, Rabbi Yehuda Fogel, Principal of Limudei Kodesh of our middle school, Mrs. Marjorie Wine, Principal General Studies of our middle school, Mrs. Gail Rusko, Director of General Studies of our lower school. One of the greatest and most impactful graduation speeches I have ever heard was delivered by William McRaven, a retired four-star admiral of the United States Navy at the 2014 commencement of the University of Texas at Austin. No, I was not there. A friend told me about it a few years ago, and I watched it on YouTube. The speech became so famous that it became the basis of a New York Times best-selling book. The admiral reflected back on his early days of Navy SEAL training and how his commanders were insistent on perfectly made beds. Each morning was a thorough inspection, and every aspect of every bed had to be just right. Initially, he didn't understand why this was such a big deal. Navy SEALs, he thought, should spend their time becoming the fiercest warriors in the world. They don't need to worry if a corner of their bed sheet isn't perfectly squared. But as he matured, he understood the importance of this bed-making ritual. A well-made bed in the morning signifies a small success, a little personal victory to start your day. That little victory turns into another one, which turns into another one. That one relatively small action can ultimately lead to a massive snowball effect of accomplishment and progress. Admiral McRaven was essentially expounding upon the notion of mitzvah goreret mitzvah. One mitzvah, one positive action, inevitably leads to another. While I recognize that almost everyone who has ever lived has felt that they're living in crazy times, we are really living in crazy times. On the one hand, we have so much. Look at how advanced our world is. Technology, medicine, education, freedom. More Torah is being learned and more chesed is being done today than at any point in history. The possibilities and potential seem endless. But also look how little we have. War, pandemic, anti-Semitism, rampant anxiety and feelings of lack, loneliness, and questionable safety in the very places our children should feel safest. So what are a bunch of 8th grade graduates supposed to do about all that? You guys didn't cause all these problems. Are you expected to actually change the world and make it a better place? Yeah, you are. While a lengthy Hasidic discourse is far beyond the scope of this address, we believe in the concept of tzimtzum. This means that in order for God to create the world and everything in it, he actually had to contract himself so that a vacant space would remain for all that would be created. In other words, we would not be able to exist in the same space as Hashem's full and complete infinite light. So Hashem, so to speak, pulled himself out of this world just enough that we can perceive some element of independence from him, and so that we can perceive the difference between righteous and wicked. Now, if that made little to no sense to you, don't worry about it. Just listen to the following. What emerges from this is that whatever negativity, darkness, or evil that we experience in the world is really nothing more than the absence of positivity, light, goodness, and godliness. The simple truth, and one that much of the world seems not to understand, is that so many of the troubles and challenges facing humanity today can't simply be fixed or fought with laws, mandates, rules, and regulations. And we can't just wish for the days of old when kids did this or didn't do that, when people just had more respect, or when the world just felt a little less crazy. We need to fill the void. We need to act in positive ways and do good things. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but because good, by definition, either pushes out what seems to be bad or leaves no room for it in the first place. Now, I'm not sure how many young people out there in the world today are being raised to live passionate lives on a mission to do good and bring more godliness into the world. But as graduates of HALB, every single one of you has been raised to do just that. And it's probably easier than you think. What Admiral McRaven taught us about small positive actions impacting our own personal lives and success also applies to our families, social circles, communities, and the world at large. Good leads to more good. Where there is light, there is no room for darkness. So give a small smile to someone who clearly needs it. Say one line of your davening with a little extra kavanah. Hold yourself back from sharing that story that might embarrass your friend. Say sorry to that person you hurt. Learn to drop more Torah and do it on a regular basis. Be the kid in camp who's known for treating everyone with respect. And as soon as this graduation ends, give your parents a hug and a sincere thank you. If you 8th graders can do things like that, little actions, mitzvot of all types, you can literally change the world for the better. Because the goodness, kindness, and positivity you create will spread far beyond your one action. So my bracha to you is not that you will do great, big things. Rather, you should do lots of small things. You should find your bed-making moments and bring more light into all the places that need it so badly. Mazel tov. I'd now like to call up Rabbi Yehuda Fogel for the presentation of some individual awards.
I'd like to call upon Michal Fader and Benaya Aryeh, our salutatorians, to lead us in Tehillim. You may remain seated.
Adonai Shomrecha, Adonai Tzilcha, Ayad Yaminecha. Yomam Hashem Eshloya Keta Berech Balayla. Adonai Shmorcha Mikol Ra Yishmor Nafshecha. Adonai Shmor Teitzcha Voecha Meitav Yad Olam.
I'd like
Shir HaMalel LeDavid, Samachti b'Yamali, Beit Adonai Nelech, Omdot Ha'ir Agleinu b'Sharayech, Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim Habnuya, Kir Shechibra, Lach Yachdav, Shesham Alu Shavatim Shiftayah, Edu Yisrael, Odol Hashem Adonai, Ki Shama Yashvu Chisod L'Mishpat, Kisod L'Beit David, Shalom Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishayu Ohavayech, Yishalom B'Chelech, Shalva B'Amanotayech, Leman HaChaverei Adabra Shalom Bach, Leman Beit Adonai Eloheinu Havaksha Tov Lach.
I would like to call upon the Girls Keter Shem Tov awardee, Lana Frankel. This award was voted on by faculty and is for students that exemplify outstanding midot and all that HALB values.
Honored principals, rebbeim, morot, teachers, grandparents, parents, and my fellow graduates. Most of my friends are used to seeing me express myself dancing. So with that being said, I'm just kidding, Rabbi Linder. I won't be performing a dance on this platform. In my family, we are about equally divided between vanilla and chocolate ice cream lovers. Personally, I am the vanilla kid. Nevertheless, one of my favorite childhood stories is the Roald Dahl classic, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm sure you all know the story. Golden tickets are hidden in chocolate bar wrappers, providing 5 lucky children with the opportunity to tour the fantastical chocolate factory. 4 of the 5 children succumb to their character flaws, but Charlie remains respectful and kind. The tour provides us with many examples of the insightful but difficult choices made by our ancestors. We just read on Shavuos the story of Ruth, who, faced with opportunities to return to her royal ancestry and family, chooses to stay with her Jewish mother-in-law. For this choice, she was rewarded with becoming the great-grandmother of David HaMelech and ultimately of Mashiach. Life is full of choices. Every day we make a series of decisions. Many are mundane. Which sweatshirt should I wear? What snacks should I pack? Many seem easy but have significant consequences. Should I smile at the security guard and say good morning even though I feel tired and cranky? Should I kiss a mezuzah? Should I pick up the sitter that fell off the shelf? One of the most important decisions in our lives, the choice to attend HALB, is one that was made for us by our parents. But boy, was it a good one. From the time we walked through the doors of Lev Chana, we became part of a family that would shape us for who we are today. Do you remember our sitter and Chumash plays, Chanukah, Purim, Midor Lador and Navi plays, school-wide Malav and Malkas? All of these were events that we looked forward to with such enthusiasm. Each one of those programs taught us valuable lessons about our history and our heritage. Our teachers, Morot, and Rebbeim have always tried to instill in us good values and the significance of our role in the Jewish community. They taught us to say Tehillim when an ambulance passed by us on the street and to sing Hatikvah proudly. We celebrated Yom HaAtzmaut joyously and proudly marched in the Salute to Israel parade. Through our Chumash and Halacha classes, we developed a deeper understanding of Shema Shmona Esrei. We filled our Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur Machzorim with post-its to strengthen our connection to the Tefillah. And we learned to see Hashem's Hashgacha every day, Min HaCholonos. In Parshas Bamidbar that we read before Shavuos, Hashem commands Moshe to count all the Jewish people alongside the leaders of the tribes. In so doing, Hashem was teaching us an important lesson. Each tribe had its own distinctive qualities and styles, and each tribe was separately valued. But ultimately, all the tribes added up to the totality of Bnei Israel. Likewise, throughout our years at Yeshivat Lev, our teachers at Marot have celebrated our differences. Some students express their talents through their History Day projects. Others love Fish Tank, the Science Fair, Genius Hour, and Names Not Numbers. Still, others are able to shine on the sports teams, the debate team, and the Torah Bowl. While we all have our unique talents and interests, we have come together as one united class. But there's a difference between talents and gifts on the one hand, and choices and decisions on the other. As teenagers navigating the world during complicated times, we are faced with constant distractions and challenges. We are constantly flooded with messaging from social media and pictures on what we are missing out on. As we begin the next chapter of our lives, we should think. We should think about what choices we will make. Will we choose to criticize or to build? Will we get defensive when we are wrong or apologize? Will we take chances or settle for the path of least resistance? When things get hard, will we give up or try harder? Will we be bystanders or upstanders? Will we give in to our weaknesses, or like the fictitious Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, will we choose to be respectful and kind? I would like to suggest that when we are faced with these choices, we should remember all that we've learned in our time at HALB. The books we have read, the essays we have written, the subjects we have studied, the friendships we have made, and especially the Torah lessons we have learned, have laid the foundation for us to make the choices that will ultimately form the story of our lives. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Rabbi Englander, Rabbi Fogel, Mr. Altaby, Mrs. Wine, Ms. Russo, the incredible middle school faculty, as well as all the teachers of Bain, Marot, PTA, and lay leadership for all they do every day to create a warm and caring environment for us where we can excel in our academic pursuits and grow in our Yiddishkeit. I would also like to acknowledge my parents and all of our parents, grandparents, siblings, and extended families for being such great role models for all of us. And to my dear friends and fellow graduates of Class of 2022, I would like to close with one suggestion as you face choices and opportunities, one that is close to my heart. When you get the choice to sit it out or to dance, I hope you dance. Mazel tov.
You want your speech?
I'd like to call upon the boys' Keter Shem Tov awardee, Zevi Fuchs.
Honored Rebbeim, principals, Morot, parents, grandparents, friends, and the graduating class of 2022. As many of you know, I am a huge hockey fan. I had the privilege of being part of the HALB hockey team, the HALB Lions, this year ultimately winning the championship. I am sure that everyone here was following the New York Rangers' journey to the Stanley Cup. Being a tremendous and loyal Rangers fan, I was so excited when the Rangers made it into the playoffs. As the Rangers were playing their first round against the Pittsburgh Penguins, it seemed like they weren't going to make it to the next round. You have to win best out of 7 games, and the Penguins had the 3-1 lead. But the Rangers worked together as the team they are. Each player played to their strength. Whether they play goalie, offense, or defense, they can only win when they play as a unit. The Rangers relied and depended on each other and followed the game plan that their coaches had taught them. I watched game by nail-biting game as the Rangers crept up, winning every consecutive game, ultimately making it to the next series. Next, the Rangers entered the second playoff series against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Rangers only won one game against them the entire season. Honestly, I'm embarrassed to say I didn't have a great feeling about this series. Believe it or not, the Rangers held their own, forcing and winning a Game 7. They managed to win that series with amazing guidance, being a team, working together, relying and trusting their teammates, and following a laid-out game plan. This is just like my experience of being a student at HALB for the past 11 years. I have had the opportunity to have amazing teammates to go through my school experience with. We have all worked together, relying on each other through all our great and amazing times. Even through challenging times like the years on Zoom, we always managed to succeed in all that we do as a group. We were only able to achieve this under the guidance of our terrific coaches, our rebellion, moral, and teachers who guided us, laid out game plans, taught us the right moves and plays, encouraged us, and were there for us every moment of the game. There are also our amazing fans, our family and friends who are always there cheering for us, even when it may seem like we may be down and out. The love that HALB has shown me over the years ties into this past week's Parsha, Parshat Naso. In the Parsha, Bnei Israel are setting up the Mishkan, and jobs were given out to the different groups of Bnei Israel. The Kohanim, among other jobs, were given the task of Berkat Kohanim, blessing the Jewish nation. They were commanded to bless with love, be'ahava. In Gemara Sota, Chazal say you should only choose someone who is generous, has an ayin tov to make a blessing over wine. It says, Tov ayin hu yavarech. The generous man will be blessed. Do not read it as Yivorach, will be blessed, but Yavarech, he will bless. The blessing is based on the feelings and intentions of the one who is giving the blessing. That is behind the love, the ahava, required for giving the bracha. The beginning of Berkat Kohanim starts with Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and safeguard you. Even though the Kohanim are blessing an entire nation or congregation, it is written in singular form. This is to show the unity that results when love prevails. The word ahava has a numerical value of 13, as does the word echad. The Kohanim were commanded to bless be'ahava and to be united as one. As I look at our graduating class, regardless of where we all venture off to after graduation, we will always be one unit, one HALB family. Being a Kohen myself, I just wanted to leave every one of you with a bracha given with that ayin tov and full heart. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, Yisha Adonai panav elecha v'yashem lecha shalom. Lastly, I would like to give Hakara Hatov to my Englander Rabbi Fogel, Mrs. Wine, all my rebellion, moral, and teachers for all their guidance and making my school year so memorable. I also give tremendous Hakara Hatov to my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and siblings who have all been tremendous role models to me and have supported me through all my years at HALB. Thank you and Mazel Tov.
The following award has been voted on by the class of 2022. I'd like to call upon Chayla Adler and Jonathan Finkel to receive the Carol Feineman Award for Bein Adam Lachvero. I would like to call upon Donnie Leifer and Shua Weisel to receive the Principal's Award for Excellence in Leadership and Chesed. I'd like to call upon Hannah Austin, Yaira Steinman, Ami Marks, and Mata Zamir to receive the Edward Jacobs Memorial Award for Excellence in Sports and Midos. I'd like to call upon Julia Clayman and Kiwi Kleiman to receive the Gerald Bass Award for Scientific Achievement and Research. I would like to call upon the Benedictorians Leah Sicklick and Caleb Klein to receive their awards. I'd like to call upon our girls valedictorian, Alexandra Rudinsky, to address her fellow graduates.
One of my favorite shows is Nailed It. According to the official Netflix description, home bakers with a terrible track record take a crack at recreating edible masterpieces for a prize. It's part contest, part hot mess. What I love about this show, aside from its lighthearted humor, is that the projects don't always turn out as envisioned. I think this is a great metaphor for our lives. It is a show about encouragement and hope. Throughout, we are challenged to overcome obstacles. We should never allow any difficulty to diminish our courage. We should be prepared for future challenges of life and should also possess enough strength to face them with pride. Honored rabbis, morot, teachers, parents, grandparents, and friends. When I think of my experience at HALB, I remember all the care, love, and effort that each of my teachers has shown. Many of us in this class have been together since before we can remember. And I can say, proudly looking back at my experience, that HALB has properly encouraged us and has provided us with the tools to overcome whatever lies ahead. Valedictorian comes from a Latin phrase that means to say farewell. I cannot believe the time has come to say goodbye. We are saying goodbye to all the teachers, morot, administrators, and all the other helpers who make HALB such a wonderful place. But luckily, we are also able to look forward to the future as our relationships are deep and strong. I am thankful that HALB's culture has instilled in me a love of Torah. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs talks about how Judaism can be thought of as an algorithm. Just like when I solve a Rubik's Cube, I can use a few simple rules that help me unravel a complex problem. So too, the Torah can be thought of as a time-tested map that provides real-life advice for my friends and me. Rabbi Sachs argues there are 7 practical lessons that the Torah teaches. I think HALB has done an outstanding job at highlighting these life lessons, not just in the classroom, but in the way we, the students, have been treated throughout the years inside the classroom and out. 1. Strengthening key relationships. No one has a stronger sense of community than Jews. Kol Yisrael arivim zeh bazeh. Shimon Bar Yochai said, when one Jew is injured, all Jews feel the pain. HALB exemplifies the sense of community. 2. Success depends on forming positive habits. Halacha is the world's greatest system that teaches willpower. HALB has taught us what it means to form lasting habits that enhance our ability to study and focus. Number 3. Rabbi Sachs continues, if you want to avoid exhaustion, you must find time to unwind. This is the purpose of Shabbos. HALB has given us so many opportunities to appreciate the unique joy that we feel when surrounded by friends and family on special Shabbos and Yom Tov celebrations. The 4th lesson is defining happiness as a matter of gratitude with the right attitude. When you live as a Jew, the first words you say every morning are Moza Ani. Rabbi Sachs has a great line, you thank before you think. HALB has taught us to be thankful for what we have and to tell those who have helped us how grateful we are for their effort. Number 5, the Torah will keep your mind active for a lifetime, because to be a Jew means to be a lifelong learner. HALB has instilled in us the importance of not just learning, but loving to live. 6, and almost there. Whatever you do in life, you need a sense of what is right and what is wrong. You need to see the picture of your parents, grandparents, and teachers like Yosef did, so that you can do what is right, not what is easy. Last, number 7. For happiness, for success, you need a sense of identity. HALB has done an amazing job at telling us the story of our culture, how we are a part of a long chain and the greatest story ever told. Thank you so much, Rebbeim, Morot, teachers, and administration, Rabbi Englander, Rabbi Fogel, Mr. Altsby, Mrs. Wine, and Mrs. Roscoe, for instilling these ideals in all of us and making HALB such a wonderful place to spend the first decade of my school life. And of course, thank you to my parents and grandparents who have helped me accomplish this milestone of graduating from 8th grade. Lastly, thank you to my 43 closest HALB friends, from 1st grade until now, and from Woodmere to Long Beach. We built so many memories together, all of our plays, Six Flags, Color War, Niagara, and just hanging out. These past 8 years have been so much fun with all of you. I'm looking forward to great things in the future from each of my classmates. Mazel tov.
I'd like to call upon the boys' valedictorian, David Feldhammer, to address his fellow graduates.
Rabbis, teachers, parents, family, and friends, I'm very honored to be asked to address you today on behalf of my classmates, the graduating class of 2022 of the Hebrew Academy of Long Beach. My HALB journey started in the fall of 2012 when I entered 4-year-old nursery at Lev Klana. Early on, my teachers instilled a love of both Torah and learning. I soon moved on to 1st grade at the Long Beach campus. There I had my first Rebbe, Rabbi Unger, and was given my first sitter. Then, the following year was a Chumash play with Rabbi Cohen. But it wasn't just a sitter and a Chumash. I was being taught by example to love Hashem and develop my own closeness towards Torah learning. We then moved to the Woodmere campus in the middle of 3rd grade and were eventually introduced to Mishnahs by Rabbi Lippman, and then Gemara learning from so many great Rebbeim as our Torah learning continued to expand. And then there was COVID. We all moved to Zoom classes while the world around us became a very frightening place. I tried to adjust to this new learning environment, and amidst all this, our teachers still made sure to put time aside in their very busy days to go on Zoom to make sure that even though the world stopped, our education wouldn't. Eventually, we did get back into the classrooms, but first there was fear, apprehension, mass social distancing, and frequent quarantines. And now, as life has slowly returned to normal, we have learned to appreciate the camaraderie and normalcy that we have previously took for granted. And I'm proud of how we all got through it together. Now, as we prepare to graduate, I've come to truly appreciate the education I received here and the Torah values that were taught here, values that will hopefully guide us throughout our lives. And beyond the actual lessons, what truly made my experience at HALB so special was the people, all of the great Rebbeim, teachers, and friends that taught me and helped me along the way. We had Rebbeim and teachers who cared about us and who genuinely invested in our personal and spiritual growth. And I personally had great friends who always supported me and made me feel like I was part of something special. And now, looking back almost 10 years later, I think that perhaps I can truly appreciate what you all have done for me and the everlasting impact that you have had on my life and education. I want to thank all my Rebbeim who always encouraged us, challenged us, and ultimately believed in each and every one of us. I also want to thank the ELI department for helping us improve our writing skills and setting us up for high school. The social studies teachers who taught us how to work together and help us excel in the History Day competition. The science teachers always made the learning fun with cool experiments. And finally, the math department who always made sure that we understood the material with many review sessions throughout the year. And I also want to thank all my teachers in elementary school who helped prepare me for middle school. I couldn't be more grateful. I also want to thank my parents, whether it was helping me with homework, going to that occasional Mets game, or taking me to buy goalie gear when I decided I want to be a goalie. I want to thank my dad for everything he has done for me and always believing in me. I also want to thank my mom for everything she has done for me, always being there for me, even at a moment's notice. I'm very lucky to have the best mom ever and the best orthodontist ever. I also want to thank my grandparents and siblings for all their love and support. And finally, I want to thank all of you, my classmates, my friends. I'd like to do so by ending off with a quick Devar Torah. This past Shabbos in Parshas Naso, we read about the dedication of the Mishkan, and there are two questions that are commonly asked. The first question is, why were all 12 karbanos listed when each were exactly the same? And why does the first karban, and only the first karban, the one by Nachshon ben Aminadav, have the language of big karbano with an extra vav? With regard to the first question, an answer commonly given is that even though each karban was identical, they were all prepared differently, each with a unique kavana and a recognition of the specific roles that each shevet would play within Bnei Israel. And why was there an extra vav with the karban of Nachshon? According to one explanation of the Mishnah, the vav implies that the karban of Nachshon was given in addition to something else, and that even though Nachshon was the first karban given on the first day, it was as if there were other karbanos that came before it. And the Mishnah explains that Hashem viewed all the karbanos as being equally special, as if they were all given on the first day. And putting these two explanations together, we learn a beautiful lesson. On the one hand, Hashem did recognize that each karban came with different kavanah, and each shevet was destined for different things, whether it be leadership, Torah study, or commerce. And while it might seem that some were more important than others, the Mishnah teaches us that they were all important and equally special in the eyes of Hashem. And I would like to think that on some level this could apply to us as well. We are all graduating. We are all doing the same thing. However, if we take a closer look, we can recognize that we all took slightly different paths to get here, and we may have emphasized different parts of our learning as we all strive for our unique goals in life. And I think that it is important to recognize that they're all important and valuable. Congratulations to the Hebrew Academy of Long Beach, class of 2022. Thank you for all the great friendships and wonderful memories that we made here along the way. I wish us only continued success in high school and in our future endeavors beyond. Mazel tov.
Please now direct your attention to the screen and enjoy a special video presentation highlighting the graduating class of 2022. Thank you, Ms. Waterman and Yehoshua Wiesel, for putting this together.
Got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. If you got troubles, I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. If we stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. take a drive down the highway of life. Give me 5, my friend. Here we are, we're together again, and remembering when we met. All the games, all the jokes that we laughed at, the pain that we shared, and we knew that no matter what came, our bond would remain the same. I can travel down any road, 'cause I know that I'm not alone. I've got my friends and their loyalty. I've got my friends who always say the best in me. I've got my friends every step of the way. My friends have helped to shape the man I am today. All the years, all the good and the bad, you were there, my friends, and the time. We are young, so let's set the world on fire. We shall brighter than the sun.
Awesome. I'd now like to call up Mr. Altaby, Mrs. Wine, Rabbi Fogel to present the diplomas to the graduates, and our school presidents, Mitch Kirshner, Mr. Nathaniel Rogoff, to read aloud the names. I'd like to also call up our PTA presidents, Mrs. Hannah Berry, Mrs. Ariella Freundlich, and Mrs. Tali Newberg, to present a special gift to the graduates. No need to come up and take any pictures. They've already been taken. Graduates, please rise.
Rebecca Abayev. Daniela Edelman. Kyla Adler. Haley Aspier. Hannah Austin. Ilona Bitone. Yakira Botnick. Daniela Dagan. Gabriela Deutsch. Kayla Deutsch. Dina Farrell. Michal Fader. Anya Fishman. Lana Franco. Sophia Friedman. Ariella Gast. Ayala Glicksman. Liat Goodstein. Kayla Greenberg. Eliana Holschendler. Rebecca Isaacs. Rebecca Kashani, Estelle Kimmerling, Julia Clayman, Abigail Klein, Danielle Leifer, Tahila Mark, Eliana Miller, Malky Mintz, Leora Nachman, Emma Newberg, Yael Obermeister, Molly Ostreicher, Deborah Pack, Hannah Pfeiffer, Ella Pollen, Alexandra Radinsky, Bracha Raps, Leah Sicklick, Dahlia Singer, Leora Stefanski, Yaira Steinman, Rachel Stern, Kayla Taub, Noah Abelson, Yoni Adler, Benaya Arye, Judah Binkowitz, David Bondar, Noah Bornstein, Isaac Cohen, Shua Sorolnik, David is a wall Feldhammer, Jonathan Finkel, camera moment right now. Yoshua Fogel, Eitan Fortgang, Michael Freund, Moshe Frieden, Zevi Fuchs, Shoham Gabay, Yaakov Glicksman, Daniel Goldfarb, Ari Goldstein, Rafi Greenwald, Benjamin Gross, Nathan Grushko, Aaron Hackle, Max Herman, Avi Hillson, Daniel Eisler, Caleb Klein, Kiwi Kleinman, Ephraim Klinger, Noah Kupperman, Benjamin Lader, Stewart. Noam Lazar. Ami Marks. Aaron Medetsky. Ari Mitgang. Evan Mizrahi. Shem Tov Mizrahi. Rafi Muchnick. Natanel Mordekayev. Aryeh Oppenheimer. Amir Peretz. Noah Pfeiffer. Rafael Phillips. Ben Pollock. Judah Popak. Shlomo Ratner. Jonah Rosenberg. Samuel Rosenblatt. Daniel Rosenwasser. Alex Sigmund. Boaz Simantov. Michael Solomon. Samuel Swidarski. Yoshua Wiesel. Joseph Willon. Daniel Wogelanter. Matisyahu Zamir. Ethan Zamanovich.
Thank you. You may all be seated, or graduates, you may be seated. Before we conclude by presenting our graduates a few pieces of information and some thank yous. At the conclusion of the program, you're all invited outside to a collation. Please use all of the doors as you exit, but please just wait until after the graduates have walked out. There will be a minyan for Maariv about 30 minutes after we conclude. Now for some thank yous. First, we must express our gratitude to Hashem for bringing us all to this special moment in our lives and for blessing our incredible yeshiva and this special class with so much success. To Anthony, wherever you are out there, and his amazing custodial staff, thank you for all the hard work that went into making sure this graduation went smoothly. To Chaim Hollander, whose hard work and attention to detail make every HALB program so beautiful and professional. And thank you to Nachi Cooper for all of his hard work on this graduation. I want to thank Mrs. Lori Kirshner, our graduation chairperson, and her committee for making sure every detail of this event was taken care of beautifully. Thank you to Sharoni Botwinick and Rebecca Gohari for the countless hours you put into preparing for this graduation and making sure it would be professional and meaningful. A big thank you to Rabbi Benji Renov, who does so much behind the scenes to make the end of the 8th grade experience so amazing. I'd like to thank our new Director of Development, Mrs. Alyssa Kirshner, who has been an incredible new addition to the HALB team. To Mrs. Adrienne Mitten, our new Executive Director. You had massive shoes to fill upon Richie Hagler's retirement, and you filled them incredibly well. Thank you for being such a great partner in all that we do. On the note of partnership, I'd like to acknowledge and thank our partners at DRS and SKA, Rabbi Kamenetsky, Mrs. Kamenetsky, and Mrs. Drebin. It's amazing to have such amazing educators throughout the entire HALB system. To our awesome, devoted, incredible PTA, headed by co-presidents Hannah Berry, Ariella Freundlich, and Tali Newberg. Thank you. Our devoted parent council, led by Shira Hoshander. And our board liaisons, Adina Herskowitz and Tammy Radinsky. Thank you for all that you do for the children and faculty of HALB. What you do and how you do it so beautifully represents the strong bond that exists between HALB and its parents. To our co-presidents, Mr. Mitch Kirshner and Nathaniel Rogoff. And to our chairman of the board, Mr. Lance Hurt. The dedication you have shown this yeshiva is simply incredible. Day, night, weekend, you're available to provide support, guidance, and true leadership. To say that you have dealt with your fair share of challenges over the last few years would be the understatement of the century, but you led HALB with strength and selflessness, and for that, we are forever grateful. We are blessed here at HALB with the absolute most incredible leadership team. Mr. Richard Altaby, Mrs. Felice Ackerman, Mrs. Lisa Zakatinsky, Mrs. Gail Rusko, Mrs. Marjorie Wine, and Rabbi Yehuda Fogel. It's an honor for me to work alongside such outstanding professionals who work tirelessly to ensure the very best for the children of HALB. Thank you for being a team in the fullest sense of the word and for your unending dedication to every aspect of our school. To the teachers and staff of HALB, I've said it many times in the past, that a school is not a campus of buildings, walls, classrooms, offices, and fields. The school is defined by the people who work there, and we are blessed to have the very best. Thank you to our incredible faculty for all you do to make HALB what it is, and for putting your heart and soul into these students. To our parents, we are bound in a holy partnership to ensure a bright Jewish future. Baruch Hashem, we have so much to be proud of as we look at our graduates and see the path that they are on. Thank you for everything you do for your children, big and small, and thank you for all the support you have shown this school. You have entrusted your children to us for all these years, and for that we are eternally grateful. And finally, to our dear graduates. Thank you for becoming the kinds of young men and women, B'nai and B'not Torah, that we could exclaim with pride our HALB graduates. Please make sure to thank your parents for providing you with this incredible education, the ultimate foundation for a Torah life. I'd now like to call upon Mrs. Marjorie Wine to deliver the convocation.
Okay, as everyone on this stage has already acknowledged, this has been quite a few challenging years. I'm so happy that we're here celebrating together in good health. And now graduates, of whom I'm so very proud, please turn around and face your parents as a gesture of gratitude for seeing you through to this graduation day, especially given the challenges. Graduates, now please turn back around and face the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby present to you the graduates of the Hebrew Academy of Long Beach, class of 2022. You have completed the required course of study as prescribed by the Board of Directors of the Hebrew Academy of Long Beach and the New York State Department of Education. With the power vested in us by the New York State Department of Education, I now declare you HALB's graduating class of 2022. You may now move your tassels from right to left. Mazel tov!
Okay, the graduates are going to exit first. What time is it?
Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem.
Marav will be at 8:40 in the base medrash. Marav at 8:40 in the base medrash. seats. Parents, remain in your seats.